Welcome everyone to the Missouri Association for College Admission Counseling Virtual College Fair. We're happy to have you with us. A few housekeeping items before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are turned off, so panelists cannot see or hear you. All presentations, including this one, will be recorded and are available in about a week at strivescan.com/Missouri. Each of our presenters this evening will have 6 minutes to give you an appetizer, a highlight reel, if you will, and we encourage you to follow up with them with any questions in the future. So without further ado, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and kick it over to Avila University.
All right,
Avila University, my apologies.
No, that's okay. Thank you very much. So I am pulling my screen up right now, but while I'm doing that, my name is Alec Boren. I am one of the assistant directors of undergrad admission at Avila, and I'm being joined by Kenny Baker, who's the other assistant director. He's going to be answering the questions in the Q&A, but we wanted to talk about transferring to Avila. So the first big question, why Avila? Why do students choose Avila University as a transfer destination? And I think you're going to hear a lot of different answers here. I think that some students are going to tell you that they knew about Avila and just wanted to go maybe knock out an associate's degree or maybe knock out some core curriculum elsewhere. Other students find us through looking for some of our top programs: nursing, radiologic science, education, business, among many others. But I think every student you ask is going to have a little bit of a different story. There's always going to be a little bit different, but overall, I think that when you talk to the students why Avila, you see that there are a ton of great reasons why you should come, visit us here in the south part of Kansas City. So here's a little background about who we are, just in case you are not familiar with us. We do, as I just said, have a quiet campus in South Kansas City, so it's a really cool suburban area, a lot of neat stuff all around us. We're a smaller school of about 1,000 undergrad students. We also have some graduate and some adult learning populations. We do operate with a mission-based education. So our mission of helping the dear neighbor is something that is going to be seen throughout the entire curriculum and something that you're going to see in all of our different programs. We do want to offer as many different opportunities to students as we can. One of the benefits of being in our area of Kansas City is that it allows us to access the more metropolitan area around us and to the north of us, but it also allows students who may find themselves a bit more comfortable in smaller rural areas. It gives them access to that, which is just a little bit of a trip south as well. Of course, we do offer athletics. We are in the NAIA in the KCAC conference. So on to some of the general admission and some of the housekeeping stuff. To be admitted as a transfer student at Avila University, there's a couple different ways to go about it. So one of those would be students with 24 or more cumulative credit hours. So that's from all the different schools they've attended, including dual credit. We would just ask that that student has a 2.0 previous GPA, and that'd be a 2.0 at the time that they applied and sent in the transcripts. However, if a student does not have 24 credit hours yet, they can still be admitted as a transfer student. We would just use their high school transcript, final high school transcript, as well as ACT, SAT scores if they have them, or just whatever kind of testing they can get to us. One of the great things that we've been able to do is provide some really, really great scholarship opportunities for our transfer students. In fact, just recently, about not even a couple months ago, about 2 months ago, we raised our average scholarship amount by about $1,000 per year. So students will have access to either an academic or an athletic scholarship, kind of depending on why they're ending up at Avila. So if it's an athletic scholarship, the amount is going to be determined by the coach. If it is the academic scholarship, then that's going to be based on a previous GPA at the point of admission. So you can see here, students have access to $7,000, $8,000, or $9,000 per year in an academic scholarship. Students can also get financial aid. There's a mission grant for students who are either the children or they have a brother or sister at Avila. Students on A+ can get a little bit of money for a continuation grant. Students involved in a number of campus activities involving being a tour guide, being in choir, being in art can get a little bit of extra money there as well. Ultimately, what we're trying to do is make this experience as affordable as possible. So you can see here the full-time cost of a student to attend, estimated cost for the 2021-22 school year. So our full-time tuition starts at about $21,740. For students opting to live on campus, to get the standard double room with a full meal plan adds about $7,000. So you're looking at just shy of $29,000 a year in order to go to classes and in order to live on campus. One of the big things that I really like to talk about, and one of the big things that we've done in the last couple of years, is we rolled out the Avila Promise, which is a really great program. And for those familiar with Avila, you probably hear it a lot from our first year reps, just because it is a big important part of who we are. But the Avila Promise also applies to transfer students. So the promise is a way that we are trying to answer some of these questions that we are being asked. What is my true cost of my education? What is the value of my education? What am I getting out of it? What kind of experiences am I going to have? So we developed the promise as a way to answer some of those. It starts right away with the tuition, starting at $21,000. It provides an easy access to a really great private education. Of course, when you add those scholarships, that really does create quite a discount for students who are wanting to get that small private experience. Students are also going to be guaranteed a 4-year graduation from the first year side. On the transfer side, that basically looks like our advisors working with students to make sure they can get that degree as soon as possible, so they don't have to have an extra year or semester or a couple of semesters of classes. We are also guaranteeing internships or research opportunities to all of our students, including our transfer students. And there are some travel awards. So when students are going on trips, to South Korea, to India, to France, they are getting a little bit of extra scholarship money to make those things possible. So that's about all I've got. I feel like I'm really tight within that 6 minutes. But if you have any questions, please put those in the Q&A. Kenny will be answering those, and then we'll be more than happy to pop back on and answer the questions here at the end. Thank you.
Thank you, Avila. Next up, Rockhurst University.
Sorry, I had a hard time finding my unmute button. All right, I'm Russell Shoemaker. I am currently the transfer counselor at Rockhurst University. So yeah, I'll just go through this real quick, and if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them in the chat afterwards. Let me start my timer here. So Rockhurst University is obviously located in Kansas City, Missouri. We've been around for quite a long time, since 1910, actually. We do have about 3,000 students. About half of those are undergraduate students. We do have about 60 on average incoming transfer students every semester. I think the last couple semesters it's actually been a little bit higher. So a decent amount of transfer students, so you wouldn't be the only one here. We do have 70 different programs. We have NCAA teams that you can either apply for athletic scholarships or just watching. And we have a beautiful green campus on Troost, real close to UMKC. So really nice area, real close to the plaza, if you're familiar with Kansas City. Rockhurst is a Jesuit college. So we are basically a social justice minded college that has been, been around for quite a while. There are all sorts of Jesuit universities across America. There's a rich history there. I don't have a lot of time to get into it, but hopefully in sharing some of the core values, you will understand what a Jesuit education is really about. So the core values, you don't have to be Catholic to join Rockhurst at all, of course. Only about 40% of our students are Catholic. The rest of them are either non-religious or various other religions. So these are core values that can be applied to all shapes and sizes. So finding God in all things, cura personalis, reflection and discernment, contemplation and action, wisdom and magis. Basically, these all have different meanings, but they mean treating each other with respect, becoming a good person, taking care of yourself so that you can take care of others. It's all built into the curriculum. We do have 3 different colleges, so lots of different degrees to choose from here, lots of different minors to choose from. And we just added St. Luke's College of Health Sciences. So they were a separate school, but they've actually merged with us, and they'll actually be joining our campus in 2022. We're renovating an entire building for them to be on campus, so that's very exciting. As you can see, you can get your RN to BSN degree, you can get your master's here. So there are a lot of options at Rockhurst for you. So another thing that we really stress in our education is leadership. And that goes back to the core values once again, like I was saying, learning how to take care of yourself so that you can take care of others, so you can lead people. We have plenty of opportunities for students to get involved in leadership. And it's not really maybe the kind of leadership that you're thinking of, where you're just like the manager of some large company. It could be that, but it's also, how do you take care of your family? How do you take care of your friends? How do you take care of yourself? So we want you to find those different leadership opportunities, whether that is in a service immersion trip or a student group or just in your classroom. We also keep track of service hours here. You don't have to technically have any to graduate, but almost all of our students do this. I just mentioned these service immersion trips. I think that is one of the best ways to get involved in a normal year. So you can go overseas or you can go to another state and really just be useful to other people, be helpful to other people, and that will teach you a lot about yourself as well. College shouldn't be just this place where you just learn this one thing, right? You should also learn who you are and how you fit in society. So that's something that we certainly stress here. Some really great facts about Rockhurst that I was really interested in when I joined was the fact that students feel very satisfied with their education. The faculty feel like they're being listened to. There is a really wonderful postgraduate placement rate. We do have a top-ranked grad school in the business college, and our students are graduating with a higher than average salary. They're graduating usually within 4 years. So those are all really wonderful statistics. So the application process, it's very simple. It's very transfer friendly. You just apply online. You do not have to submit your high school transcripts if you have more than 24 college credits. You do not have to submit your ACT or SAT scores. So it's pretty simple. We just need a transcript from every college that you've attended, and then maybe a high school transcript if you're one of those students who has less than 24 credits. Our incoming GPA, or our average incoming GPA, is a 3.67. Don't let that scare you. We know that some transfer students especially might go to a school that they're maybe not very comfortable with, or maybe they just had a very bad semester. So if that is the case for you, just reach out to us and we can take a look at your high school transcripts, maybe take a look at your other college transcripts to see like, oh, maybe you just had a bad semester here. Maybe there's a reason for that. Definitely talk about it in your essay, all that stuff. So just reach out to us. Don't be scared of that. And then associate's degrees, we try to honor as best as possible. If you have an associate's of arts, you are more than likely going to get all of your credits and come in as a junior. We do require you to take a philosophy, a theology, and an upper division liberal arts course while you're here. We think that's part of our core curriculum. The Associate of Science is a little bit trickier depending on which degree you're going into, but once again, we're going to try to get as many credits for you as possible. And then real quick, here are scholarships. So we do have a PTK scholarship for transfer students, Distinguished Scholarship, Founders, Endeavors. These are just for transfers. You do not have to apply for them separately. They come with your acceptance. So you'll get them with your award letter. So that's really helpful. And then we'll look at your FAFSA and then any other sort of scholarships that you might be eligible for, either through our university or through outside scholarships. Like I said, there's athletic scholarships, there's need-based scholarships, all sorts of things. So this is my contact information, but just text me in the chat if you have any questions. Excuse me.
Thank you so much. Next up, we have University of Missouri, Kansas City.
Thank you so much. My name is Logan. UMKC, University of Missouri, Kansas City, is located right across the street from Rockhurst, so our neighbor, thank you. We are a mid-sized campus, and I'm sharing my screen right now for my presentation. So a little bit about us, just to give you some background information. We were chartered in 1929 as the University of Kansas City. So we have always been Kansas City's institution, and we take great pride in that. We became a part of the UM system, though, in 1963, where we joined our sister schools. Old Gold and Royal Blue are our official university colors, and Casey the Kangaroo is our official mascot. Fun fact, that's because at the same time that we were chartered, the Australian exhibit at the Kansas City Zoo was being established, and the Kansas Cityans were through the moon over these baby kangaroos that they had brought over. And so our student population decided to roll with the punch on that one. Also, another fun fact, the first rendering of Casey the kangaroo is right here on the left-hand side of your screen. If it looks very reminiscent of a popular mouse, you'd be correct. That is because Walt Disney did do our first rendering of Casey the kangaroo. So some fun claim to fame that we have here at UMKC. So why UMKC? We'll talk a little bit about these in just a hot second, but there's a perfect combination of opportunities to make connections both on campus and off campus, an overwhelming feeling of inclusivity, and then the amazing academic staff. Our staff are hold the highest degree in their field. 83% of our faculty hold the highest degree in their field. So you're learning from the best of the best for sure. A lot of PhDs, a lot of doctors walking around on campus. We are, like I was saying, a mid-sized campus, about 16,000 students strong. 8,000 of those are undergraduates. The other 8,000 are dual high school credit students and graduate students. We have 14 academic units that equates to 125 programs to offer you. Just to clarify, academic unit being the institution that actually houses your intended majors. So the College of Arts and Sciences, the School of Computing and Engineering, the Henry W. Block School of Management. Those are some of our academic units that are very popular here at UMKC. We have a 15-to-1 student to faculty ratio and an average class size of 26. We like to say those are really healthy numbers. They're not super big that you're getting lost in the mix, but they aren't tiny that you aren't building a strong network and making great connections. We are a very affordable institution as well, being a public institution. We serve both Missouri and Kansas residents in the KC metro area, and our cost is about $10,146 for one academic year of two 14 credit hour semesters. I apologize. If you want a per credit cost by 28, and it's the same for the 14,000, which is our Heartland rate. And so you'll see these blue states on my screen. If you're happen to be coming to this institution or those states, you would be assessed the Heartland rate, and then so forth for our non-residents. So any DACA students, unfortunately, we would be assessing the non-resident charge, but we are happy to help in any ways with those finding the funds to cover tuition costs here at UMKC. Several ways to find financial aid using the FAFSA, which many of my colleagues on this virtual visit will probably mention or probably have talked about. But UMKC awards are over 190 million in each year in financial aid. We have scholarships that are automatic that range from 1,000 to 5,000 for even transfer students. And then we have competitive scholarships as well, like the Block Scholars Program, as well as the Block Launchpad for those business administration majors and or accounting majors. And then, of course, each of our academic units offers a scholarship. They have their own pot of money and they want to award you funds. So just be sure to connect with us, and we're happy to walk you through what automatic scholarships are available, what competitive scholarships are available, and what academic unit scholarships are available. You can always reach out to our Office of Financial Aid and Scholarship by emailing finaid, FINAID, at umkc.edu. A wonderful thing that we've got going for us is the access to the city and our connection with our alumni. We have 51% of our alumni live and work in the greater Kansas City metro area. And so we are calling upon them when we need help with internships, mentorships, and getting jobs post-graduation. So it is one of our strongest pulls that we have here at UMKC is our alumni, but also the location. We are in the heart of Kansas City, and Kansas City is vastly growing each year with new companies, big corporations and organizations where you can easily find your job or your career post-graduation. We are also very proud of our diversity here at UMKC. We come from a broad spectrum of diversities, not only including race, ethnicity, and culture, but gender, age, sexual orientation, learning style, being a first-generation root or an adult learner. Here at UMKC, we like to say we're part of a salad bowl. We believe melting pot is dated, and so we like to say showcase everyone's differences and their similarities, and showcase everyone's background. Admissions process for students having 24 or more transferable credits and a GPA of 2.0 for general admission. Some programs do require a 2.5 or a 2.75. Be sure to check out our webpage, umkc.edu/admissions for additional admissions criteria. And then once you're admitted, you're going to accept your offer of admission and get access to all of your UMKC accounts. And then you'll sign up for orientation. We do have for transfer students, a virtual orientation this summer is not mandatory, but we do have online pre-orientation modules that are mandatory for students to complete. And those help you navigate the, the onboarding process for that college, that first semester at college at UMKC. And so real quick, I'm just going to leave my contact information. My name again is Logan Bob. I am a transfer coordinator for the UMKC Center for Transfer Students and Adult Learners. So we specialize in transfer students in adult learning and it's housed in the Office of Admissions. You can find us at umkc.edu/transfer or transfers at umkc.edu.
Logan,
Yep. Yes.
Thank you so much. We do need to move on to Baker University.
All right, thank you for that. Hi, everybody. My name is Anna McCullough. I'm the Assistant Director of Transfer Admission at Baker University. We have three campuses. Our main campus is in Baldwin City. We also offer online programs out of our offices in Overland Park in Kansas City. And then we also have a School of Nursing where we offer our BSN and MSN programs. That's located in Topeka, Kansas. So I'm gonna share my screen with you here. So this kind of, gives a couple of quick facts and some information about Baker University. But I think kind of the best way to tell you about Baker is by telling my story. So I'm a Baker alum. I attended Baker back in the day, and I was a history major. Prior to kind of, choosing a college, I was convinced that I was going to go to a big school. I was going to go to KU. My family went to KU. I wanted to be a Jayhawk like them. And then I visited campus and tried to take some classes there. And it was overwhelming for me. It was kind of too big. It was a little impersonal. It was hard to figure out how to get what I needed, like who to talk to about adding classes or who to talk to about parking passes. There was just like a lot of confusion for me kind of in that regard. And so some friends kind of encouraged me to check out Baker University, which is about 20 minutes south of Lawrence and about 45 minutes southwest of Kansas City. Because it was kind of close to home. I'm from Topeka, Kansas, and it's a lot smaller. It's about 900 full-time students. And so when I visited Baker and got to know some of the faculty during my visits, I visited a couple of times. I felt a lot more comfortable there. Not just because it's a smaller campus, but because it was a lot easier to get to know people. It was a lot easier to form kind of the personal working relationships with my teachers. It was easier to kind of figure out, how to get what I needed. And that support really meant a lot to me because, I was kind of struggling personally at the time. My father had passed away a couple of weeks before starting college, and getting kind of that personal experience was something that was really important to me. So I majored in history and did 3 minors, I had kind of a lot of the same instructors each semester, which was fantastic because they really, really got to know me, and they really, really got to know my coursework and my interests and my personal goals. So that when it came time for me to graduate and decide what it was that I wanted to do, they were mentors, but they were also in some ways, friends and sounding boards, right? So I applied to graduate school. I applied to a bunch of graduate schools for history. I got into every program that I applied to. And I think, honestly, a lot of that was because of the incredible reference letters that my professors were able to write for me because they knew me so well. And that's kind of one of the reasons why we have the 99% placement rate that I have on the slide, is because professors can write, incredible recommendation letters. They can really connect you with internship opportunities or career opportunities in Kansas City because it's nearby, but also Lawrence. But we have folks who go all over the country too. So it's not just kind of, restricted to the region if you're thinking about exploring different regions. So, I went to graduate school and got my PhD in Latin and Roman history. I went and taught English in the Middle East for a couple of years. I came back and was an assistant professor at Ohio State University. But it was always kind of in the back of my mind that, maybe someday I could come back and work at Baker. And that's eventually kind of what ended up happening. I really got interested in admissions and higher ed policy and, kind of the social justice aspects of that. And so that's kind of what led me into this. And it's one of the reasons I'm now back at Baker as an employee, as the assistant director of admissions, because this place, even 20 years later, feels like home. In those 20 years, I kept in touch with all of my professors. We had lunch whenever I was back in town. So, it's a lifelong relationship, that I've built with Baker and with its people. And that's what it can offer you too, as students. It's why I love it. It's why I believe in it. And it's why I think, you should kind of take a look at us. If you're thinking like, maybe a smaller school is a good fit for you. If you're looking for a place that has great scholarships, our average financial aid award is around $18,400. It's why we have outstanding placement rates. We have over 30 majors, so why not take a look at us? And I would really encourage you, to reach out if you have any questions.
All right, thank you so much. Next up, the University of Kansas.
Sorry, just trying to make sure is my PowerPoint. Hi, everybody. My name is John. I am the transfer admissions representative for the University of Kansas, based in Lawrence. So I graduated from KU in 2013, and through a lot of the opportunities that were afforded to me at KU, I was able to go to grad school, get that paid for, and then get a job in higher education. Just some general numbers for you. Our undergraduate population is right around 19,000 students. You can see here, though, KU does a really good job of making sure our class sizes are kept small, and even those larger class sizes are supplemented with discussions, labs, things of that nature to make sure you're still getting the individualized attention to help make sure you're successful. We also have a host of academic support services available on campus. I came from a very small town in Western Kansas, so this was extremely appealing to me. I never felt like I was just another number or I was going to fall through the cracks. We're also an extremely diverse campus. Over 40% of our students do come from out of state. Over 25% now students recognized as students of color. We are represented by all 50 states and over 110 different countries, which I really enjoyed about my experience because I got to meet people from all different walks of life, learn about different cultures and people with different backgrounds. There are a few things, though, that I want to talk about that we like to discuss, and those are our big differentiators, the things that make KU unique. So we are a member of the Association of American Universities, and if you're not familiar what that is, it's a group of approximately 65 universities in the United States and Canada that receive around 60% of all federal research funding. So we are able to pull in top faculty and staff from all over the country because they know they're going to receive the funding to support the research that they're involved in, which is basically their passion project. I believe the year before last, our medical campus located in Kansas City got an $18 million grant to continue funding cancer research that they're doing there. So just a lot of really great opportunities to, dive into your passion. And if you want to get into research, we encourage that. The majority of our students get involved at research, even during their undergraduate career, so they get to work alongside their professors. So it's just a really great opportunity to deep dive into your area of interest. The second big differentiator is the city of Lawrence itself. If you haven't been, I highly encourage you to come down for a visit. We do have transfer on campus visits every Friday. We would love to have you come down and check out the campus, get a great presentation, and see the city of Lawrence. Lawrence is perennially ranked as a top 10 college town, a lot of great food, very popular music destination. There's just a really lot to do there. We have over 500 miles of hiking and biking trails. Clinton Lake is about 8 miles from campus if you want to go fishing, camping, anything like that. So everybody really enjoys when we start getting this nicer weather so they can get outside and enjoy it. We also have over 600 different student organizations on campus, ranging from academic to athletic and everywhere in between. Some of those in-between ones that are just for fun. The Flapjacks and Lumberjacks group actually gets together every Friday at IHOP. They wear flannel shirts and they eat pancakes together. So if there's something you're interested in and you're looking for a group to get involved with or feel a sense of community at KU, it's definitely doable. Another one of the great things about Lawrence's geographical location is our proximity to Topeka and Kansas City. If you're not aware, Topeka is the state capital of Kansas. So if you are interested in political science or going to our law school, a lot of our students, even at the undergraduate level, get opportunities to intern or shadow at the state capitol located in Topeka. One of our students was actually even able to help transcribe on a piece of legislature. So she's got her name on that piece of state legislature, which is pretty cool. The other great thing about being so close to Kansas City is the ample internship opportunities. A lot of Fortune 500 companies have their headquarters there. It's also really close proximity to the airport. So we actually have 3 times the national average of students who study abroad just because we have so much scholarship available for it. We have over 160 programs in over 50 different countries. And they range from anywhere to a couple weeks up to a full year. So it's definitely a great option for you to get some more experience, learn about a new culture, all while earning credits towards your degree. And then I think this is one of the most important differences about going to KU is the Jayhawk network. We have over 350,000 alumni worldwide, and it's a well-recognized school, no matter where you go. I myself have been traveling abroad, seen somebody wearing a KU shirt, yelled "Rock Chalk" and got the Jayhawk response. It's just a really great feeling to have that sense of community, even with a complete stranger, and be able to start talking to someone in an airport or another state or even another country. So a few notes just to kind of help you with the transfer process. We actually have a great tool on our website called CredTran. Sorry, I don't know why that automated. Called CredTran. The web address is listed there for you. So this tool will actually, you can put in, I don't know why that keeps switching, I apologize. So this tool will actually allow you to check and see what your courses at your current institution transfer over to at KU. And then once admitted to KU, you'll be able to run a degree progress report that'll allow you to select your potential major at KU and plug those courses in so you can see and get an estimate on how long you will have left in your degree. So kind of next steps moving forward. Application, if you are planning to apply for this fall, please make sure to do so before May 1st to be automatically eligible for some of our scholarships. And the best thing about KU, it's the only place where you can be a Jayhawk.
Thank you so much. Now we're going to take a few minutes and hear some advice from you all. So I'd love to have all of our presenters join me back on camera. You're welcome to unmute yourselves as well. And we're going to start with Avila. What advice would you give someone going through the transfer process?
I would say 100% visit every campus that you're looking at. I think it can be really easy to fall in love with a place and have not been there before, just based on what you've seen, what you've heard. But what I think students find is that maybe what they thought was best for them, maybe there's a better option out there. So all those places that you're looking at, make sure you get on campus. And when you're on campus, make sure that you don't leave without asking all those questions that I'm sure are going to be floating around in your head.
Rockhurst University.
I would say reach out to your counselor as soon as you can, just so you kind of know where you sit credit wise and what you're looking at. I think that's really important. And if you can, make an appointment to speak with a faculty member. That was always very helpful.
University of Missouri, Kansas City.
Yeah, I would encourage you to check to see if the institution accepts unofficial transcripts for the admissions process, for the application process, I mean, because that can actually speed up an admission decision, because you probably have access to your unofficial transcripts right away. And so that's all what I'm doing all the time when I'm working with students is like, hey, give me your unofficial transcripts and fill out an application, because we could probably get a decision to you a lot quicker.
Baker University.
Yeah, so kind of following on with the transcript advice, I would really, emphasize that, colleges are going to need all of your transcripts as part of the admissions process. So that includes maybe some dual credit from high school that you might have forgotten about. Any institution where you've done post-secondary coursework, we're going to need transcripts from those institutions. So make sure that you're prepared, to collect all of those records as part of the admissions process.
University of Kansas.
I would definitely say, in doing your homework, make sure the institutions you're looking at have the program and the degree that you're wanting to go into. And then definitely going for a campus visit.
So the next question, what is your favorite event or tradition on campus? And we'll go back to you, Avila.
All right, I'm actually going to turn this one over to Kenny Baker, the other assistant director, because he was an Avila student, so he's going to have a much better idea of this than I am.
Yeah, some call me the assistant to the director. That's never mind. So we have a lot of great traditions on campus. I think one of the greats is probably late night breakfast. Classic tradition during finals week. And a lot of faculty and staff on campus will help serve breakfast and go in and eat up, and for me, ignore some studies for a little bit of time. But that's, for me, one of the all-time greats. So
I think we've all been there a little bit. Rockhurst University.
Sure, I think so. It was tulip season before that snow hit. So we plant a lot of tulips on campus, and they're usually blooming about this time of year, and they did bloom, but then snow kind of wiped out a lot of them, but that's always really beautiful to see.
University of Missouri, Kansas City.
Yes, so our conservatory, which is nationally known, does a fundraiser for their programs each year called Crescendo, and it is a showcase of all of the music majors on campus performing for one night, where a dinner follows. It is spectacular because throughout the year, these students are pretty much performing, jazz band is performing somewhere where jazz is being played, and the dance majors and the are dancing somewhere else, but this is one where they're all coming together for this just showcase of a spectacular performance each year. So it's one of my favorite things that we do at UMKC.
Baker University.
Sure. So at graduation, we have all of the graduating seniors and line up, and they kind of do a procession through campus, but they're led by bagpipers, and you kind of march through the gate, but on each side are all of the faculty members. So all of those faculty members who helped you get to where you are clapping for you and cheering for you. Some hold signs and go all that, and it's a really, really special moment. And hey, I cried. A lot of people do. It's a really, really special moment.
University of Kansas.
Definitely walking down the hill. That's our graduation procession. It's been going on for almost 100 years. And coming from a family of Jayhawks, that really meant a lot to me. And waving the weed after sporting events, obviously.
So the final question, and some of you already touched on this a bit, but give an interesting or fun fact about your school. Back to you, Avila.
Yeah, so Avila was founded 1916, so we've been in the area, over 100 years. But at the time that Avila was founded, it was St. Teresa's College, and the only students were actually women. And so Avila did not actually have any male students until 1969, so almost 50 years later.
Rockhurst University.
So our core values that I mentioned in the presentation, we actually have different areas of campus dedicated to each one of those core values. So either art installations or sculptures or little parks. So if you take a tour, you get to see all those.
University of Missouri, Kansas City.
So yes, I did share that our Casey the kangaroo came from the Kansas City Zoo, as well as Walt Disney doing our first rendering. But also a fun fact is that our School of Dentistry is the only public school of dentistry in the state of Missouri.
Baker University.
So Baker University was founded in 1858. We're the oldest university in Kansas by that measure. And when we needed a new university building, kind of the first one, apart from just like a little limestone house, we were building a hall called Parmenter Hall, and we needed some money to finish it. And by that point, it was kind of the mid, early 1860s, and President Lincoln was doing a tour of the U.S. Speaking, because talking about the Civil War, and President Lincoln actually contributed $100 to complete the building, which was a lot of money at the time. And so as a result, as part of Parmenter Hall, we have the Lincoln Parlor now.
University of Kansas.
So the first of many Olympic medals won by KU athletes throughout the history was actually in the 32 Olympics in wrestling, and the gentleman won the gold medal.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much for all of the information that you've shared today, and thank you all for tuning in. When you close this window, there will be a very quick 4-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback you can provide. As a reminder, this session, as well as others, will be available on demand at strivescan.com/Missouri within about a week. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your day.